Ed, welcome to Brian and the Judge.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, you got some splaining to do, young man.
You were my friends.
Yeah. So, Ed, tell me, are you twisting Mike Huckabee's arm behind his back to toughen him up? You came up with the ad idea, you spent the $30,000, and then he nixed it.
Here's the drill. I mean, he's watched the last 4 weeks Romney totally distort his record. And finally, last Thursday, when Romney went after McCain, who Huckabee considers a great American hero, he just sort of said, this is enough. You know, this guy has attacked Giuliani, attacked everybody, including Ron Paul, and nobody's attacking him. So we discussed. I said, listen, I've got a book 2 inches thick on all the misstatements and things that he did, and we went off, shot a very tough commercial in Arkansas over the weekend, Sunday. We prepared to present it to the press on noon on Monday. About 11 o'clock, he went out for a run. He came back and he just said to me, Ed, that's just not the kind of campaign I want to run. You know, I've never run a negative campaign. At the end of the day, I'm just getting into the mud with him. And as mad as I am at the way he's distorted my record, I don't want to do that. I have great respect for that. And I said, Governor, my job is to give you options. This is an option. This is a great ad. I said, the problem is we got 100 reporters who are filling an auditorium across the street. We were planning on giving them the DVD and giving them. I had taken the entire opposition research book and Xeroxed it, and I was going to give it to the whole press. So, I mean, Romney would have spent the next part of the campaign going through his statements that he said and didn't do. The thing I admire about Mike Huckabee is he's a man of integrity. He's a man of core convictions, and I wish I could have canceled the press conference. It was too late to do that.
Yeah, but the New York Times quoted you saying something that I've actually heard you say in person in another forum, and that is, when they punch you, you punch back. Did you tell Mike Huckabee to punch back?
Yes, absolutely. And that's my style. And the basic rule is, when you've been beat up for 4 weeks by millions of dollars in negative advertising, if you don't defend yourself, people begin to believe the charges. At the end of the day, a candidate has to run the kind of campaign that he feels best about. Ronald Reagan, many times I suggested to him to go punch back. He never wanted to do that. You know, we ran the Morning Again in America campaign, leadership you can trust. We ended up winning 49 states. That's the kind of man he was, and that's what he wanted to do. Mike Huckabee basically said, listen, I've come this far. My message is a different message. My message is a message of optimism. And
Ed, he's dreaming. You know he's dreaming. How could he possibly last three more primaries without attacking back in the same ad that you cut for him?
What I basically reserved the right, as I said to him, is we'll move forward. There's 4 days left to go. Iowa may be a little different state. I assume when we get to South Carolina, it's pretty used to tough and down and out campaigns. Our tactics may be somewhat different.
Ed, I think you agree with Mitt Romney on one thing, that you don't have to be a foreign policy expert to be president. John McCain went to town with him on that. But your guy and Mitt Romney really have the same hole in their resume. Mitt Romney was quoted as saying you don't have to be a foreign policy expert to become president.
You know, we have the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, Biden, who's got more foreign relations experience than anybody, who's sitting here with 4% in Iowa. Historically, governors don't have that kind of experience. Mike Huckabee's been in 41 states, been to Israel 9 times. He's been on all kinds of. He's been in Pakistan. He's been in Iraq and Kuwait. You know, more than Rudy Giuliani or anybody else. But at the end of the day, the thing a governor can do, and you look back on history from Reagan to Clinton to anybody else to Bush. Governors make decisions. Governors have to make decisions. Members of Congress, U.S. senators or congressmen, sit there, but they make votes. They don't make decisions.
Are Fred Thompson and Rudy Giuliani no longer in the running?
Fred Thompson certainly is out of it. I hope he has enough money to get his bus back to Tennessee. The epitome of it yesterday was he parked his bus, took a Suburban, went to a veterans hall on the 2 days before the caucus, spent an hour visiting veterans, and went home. He's not conducting a campaign here. Giuliani is obviously missing an action from both here and New Hampshire. I think Giuliani made a catastrophic mistake in thinking all of these numbers would hold for him if he didn't play in the first month of the campaign. It might have worked if he went out and raised the $100 million he thought he would, but everything I hear is he has no money either.
Does Thompson not have the fire in his belly?
No one has ever walked into a race with 20%. And that's what Fred had before he even announced. 20% said I'm for Fred Thompson. He has not converted any of that vote. And Fred's an old friend of mine. I have great respect for him. He did not have the fire in the belly. He did not know what a presidential campaign was about. And these early primaries, Iowa in particular, New Hampshire, these voters and the media take these races very seriously. I mean, you could not buy the kind of media time that we've had by having 100 reporters, and we set up anywhere we go, and there's 50 cameras set up. You can't get that kind of attention, and I think to a certain extent, they underestimated that. Ronald Reagan in 1980, because of the campaign manager's arrogance, John Sears, made a determination not to come to Iowa. If we'd have come to Iowa about 4 days, there never would have been a George Bush. I mean, we would have crushed him in the state. People in Iowa who knew Reagan said, hey, the guy's not going to be bothered with us. We're not going to give him our vote. We came very close to winning it still, but if we'd have come here and spent a week campaigning as we should have, George Bush wouldn't have won it, and then obviously the option of who we picked beyond that would have been much different.
Before we let you go, what are your thoughts on the other side of the aisle, Hillary against Obama and Edwards in Iowa and in New Hampshire? What are your people telling you?
First of all, Hillary should be very, very grateful that Edwards is in this race, because if she wasn't, Obama would beat her by 25 points.
Wow.
Really?
Hillary's like the incumbent. She's struggling in this race. Every time her husband steps forth on a stage, he's the attraction. She isn't. Obama basically is the one that's lit the fires here. People are very excited about his candidacy. Edwards has certainly a very strong third place, but it's a wide open race, and caucuses are different than anything else in the sense of identifying, getting your voters to the caucuses. My sense is that Hillary is not dealing with the media that are following her. I mean, she's trying to run a sort of campaign.
The anti-Huckabee campaign.
The anti-Huckabee campaign.
Right.
Now, listen, we welcome the opportunity to go talk to the media. The media helps us deliver our message where we don't have the ability to spend as much money on the paid TV. And Mike Huckabee has an amazing ability to punch through with his own message. He's a tremendous performer, as you guys have both.
Ed, I can't thank you enough for joining us. I could hear the passion in your voice. You were juiced for this, and I appreciate some of your time.
They have faces made for TV, but we let them on the radio anyway. Brian and the Judge.
I don't listen to Brian and the Judge. I listen to brown-haired guy who's not Steve Ducey and the Judge.
Brian and the Judge.